Hi, I'm doing video one from in bed uh, about my journey through, and I'm going through, and hopefully like extending my life with pancreatic cancer and liver cancer. Whether or not it was liver to pancreas or pancreas to liver, we're not sure yet. So, my name's Rebecca, and I'm 52 years old. I have 4 kids, 20, 19, and my twins are 17. So I have a lot to live for, a lot to live for. So I'm going to fight as hard as I can. Now, that said, I was just diagnosed with stage 4 of these cancers, and I found out the news on Wednesday, and it is Saturday night tonight. Yes, and the first step is supposedly waiting for a biopsy. So I waited through Thursday, Friday, and of course the weekend is here. And I am hoping, well, I'm going to call and bug people on Monday to try to push through the biopsy. And if I can't do it here locally in British Columbia very quickly, because they're talking a very long lead time for this biopsy. And if you know anything about pancreatic cancer, you'll know it's like a bit of a speed demon. And stage 4, typically, I am looking at months of life left. So obviously, to extend my life and get some kind of treatment, tickety talk, I need to get going. And that all starts with the biopsy. So if I can't, I'm going to work hard to, if I cannot get one through regular channels here, maybe jot down to the States, see if they have anything in Alberta that I could just go pay for and have that done. Yeah. A little bit about how I was diagnosed. So back in May, and this month is September. Back in May, I thought I was having a heart attack. And my daughter drove me into the hospital. I had a bunch of tests like an ECG, a chest x-ray, blood work, and they didn't find anything. And my blood work came back normal. And so, or they didn't see anything that warranted any additional things. So then I was given a heart halter to wear for 24 hours and to make note in a diary anytime I had an instance of any kind of episode, which I did. And in the next video, I'll tell you what my heart condition was diagnosed as, but it's not AFib, but it's something about your heart kind of like going and being all crazy. Yeah. So, and when I went in for that, because I thought I was having a heart attack, I had like chest pain and then shooting pain up my neck and down my side. And so it felt like classic heart attack vibes, So, but anyway, I talked to my family doctor after the results came back and they confirmed, yes, every instance you made note of your journal, you actually had a heart instance happen, and we'll get you on the list for a cardiologist when you're back from vacation, probably in August, September. So I'm like, okay, all right, well, I decided, like, what can I do to try to help myself? So I immediately did like a complete change, like flick the switch of my lifestyle choices. No processed foods, no drinking. Not that I'm an excessive drinker, but I was like, nope, no wine, beer, nothing at parties. We're just cutting it right out. And then, I'm cutting out a bunch of like breads and pastas and all that stuff because I don't find they satiate me. They drive my hunger. So I cut those out as well. So from the May, when that episode happened, scared me to death, until the end of August, when I was back from Burning Man, which is a really great time if you've never been. I lost 22 pounds, like 1 or 2 pounds a week, very healthy weight loss. I was like super proud of myself, rocking the lifestyle choices. And yeah, so that was great. And then I went into work maybe 3 days after, 3 work days after I was back from Burning Man. I was sitting at my desk and and I should also mention, just before we left for Burning Man, I got what I thought was the flu. I had fevers and chills, and my body ached, and I was like, high temperatures. Felt absolutely terrible for like 3 or 4 days, and I was like, wow, this is like flu is kicking my butt. I started to feel better, but I'm super tired, like I'm just exhausted. And so we go to Burning Man, and while I'm at Burning Man, I'm not feeling 100%, so I'm taking it easy. My body just felt a little bit achy, so I took some Advil on the day that we went out biking around to see artwork and stuff like that. And I got one day of like super fevery stuff, and I was like, oh my God, this flu won't leave me alone. And then I also had all of a sudden, this like stitch in my side, like I felt like a runner stitch, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just falling apart. Like, what is even happening with my body? And then that brings me back to 3 days back from Burning Man at work, and I'm sitting at my desk before lunch, and I get this absolute sharp pain in my side, and then it shoots up my neck and wraps around my chest, and my heart goes crazy, and I'm like having difficulty breathing. So I'm like, panting kind of breaths, and like a dumbass, I work through the rest of the afternoon, thinking it's fine, it's totally fine, I could do this. And then I drive myself to emergency, and my partner, he's, it's trafficy, it's terrible. He lives like an hour away. So he starts driving to the hospital. There's nobody in the ER, so I get there doing all the tests they did on me in May, except when they did the blood work, the doctor said to me, there's some kind of elevated level. Like he said, there's an elevated level of XYZ. So we're going to do a CT scan, and we're going to check for clots in your lungs. And I'm like, clots in my lungs? Oh my God, this sounds terrible. And so they did the CT scan, and it came back where they got the tip of my liver, like the top of it, in the chest X-ray or chest CT scan, and it was covered in tumors. And the doctor was like, he was so on it. He was like, we are going to get you in within the next 24 hours for another CT scan so we can get your abdominal cavity and check and see if it's anywhere else. And I was just devastated. I'm like, cancer? I'm thinking, holy shit. Like, this is insane. And I've known people who have survived liver cancer, so I'm thinking, okay, well, one step at a time, one step at a time. So the next morning, they call me at 9 a.m. I'm in having the CT scan at 11, and then I go get the results at 1:40 in the afternoon. And the doctor that I spoke to told me that I had pancreatic. And you know what? It's a 3-word thing, and I'll have to look it up. But it's basically pancreatic metastatic, some other long word. But basically, pancreatic cancer with a side of liver cancer with 10 plus tumors on my liver, 1 tumor on my pancreas. And I'm like completely blown away. I'm like, this is not even happening right now. And yeah, it was happening. It was happening. So then I basically say, so pancreatic cancer is like a death sentence. I said to the doctor. And I'm looking at him like, what do you tell me here? And I'm saying, do I have like months to live? And he just looks and he just kind of nods. And I'm like, now this isn't my family doctor. This is like the office, another doctor in the office who's giving me this news. My family doctor wasn't in until the next day. But I wanted to find out what was going on. And this was on Wednesday. And I was just like, and he just sucked the hope out of my soul. Like, he's like, there's nothing that can be done. And yeah, basically get your affairs in order. And I'm like, what the fuck? I honestly, it was the worst way he could have possibly told me right from the beginning to give me zero hope. Like, okay, I know, give me the facts. Absolutely. But also say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But there was like kind of a dusting of the hands, like, oh, well, c'est la vie. And it's like, no, 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 no. No, c'est la vie. This is like my life. And I want to try to stay here. I'm not ready to go. So the next day I said, well, I booked an appointment with my actual family doctor, Mark, who was there to help give birth to all my kids. And I've had for like over 25 years. And he's a lovely man. And where it was better, obviously, and he was like, we're going to advocate for you to get this biopsy done as quickly as possible, but we're kind of at the mercy of the biopsy place. And I'm thinking, oh, I am so sidestepping this. We got to figure that out. And that was on Thursday. And then Thursday night, I had to tell my kids, which was really, really hard. Really hard. Like, the hardest fucking thing I've ever done. I still talk to my mom at 52. So to tell the kids that there's a very good chance that I might not be here, even to see my twins graduate high school, that's pretty fucked up, man. It's like, how do you even process that? So one of the things I had talked to Mark about as well, my doctor, was getting counseling for my kids. So, even best case scenario, I'm obviously sick for a while. They have counseling to get through this, but they also have counseling if the worst happens, to make sure that, and I do. Friday, I call my life insurance person, make sure all my policy crap is in place, and, some admin stuff. And Friday afternoon, I went kayaking with my daughter for 4 hours. So that was wonderful. And then, then I went out dancing with my partner on Friday night. Or we went out to this event that was supposed to have dancing, but we didn't really dance because it was kind of lousy tunes. Not dancey tunes for us anyway. Not lousy tunes. They were good tunes. And, and then today has been a day. So I saw my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and they're lovely. My partner's family, lovely, and it was an emotional visit with them. And they gave me some advice to go meet this compound pharmacist health guy who has like 100 years of health knowledge. So I went there, and he kind of, I don't know what, prescribed me, sold me. The crazy thing is, so I go into this place and it looks like your average health store, supplements or whatever. And then as you go back into the store, it's like weird jars from floor to ceiling, and you feel like, oh, I'm in an apothecary. Like it was just like really cool. And out comes this guy who I have dubbed Miracle Max. And he gives me this sheet, and it says, and I tell him what I have, and he's like, oh, that's very bad. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay, we're going to start you with this. And he brings out the ivermectin and he prescribes me like 16 drops in the morning, 16 in the evening with a pill at noon. And then some special tea, which I'm brewing right now, which it takes like 12 hours to brew. Um, and just gives me an armload of stuff. And he's like, as soon as you get your biopsy, come back and see me, and we will take a look at what to do next. Anyway, and it just, I don't know. I feel kind of weirdly hopeful, even though I'm sure there are lots of you who are going, oh dear God, didn't Joe Rogan talk about that? But yeah, I'm gonna roll the dice, like so far I've got nobody saying, okay, here you go, I'm taking you to this clinic. We're gonna do this, we're gonna start this. So like no treatment has been started. I've just been sitting here with my thumb up my ass going, oh my God, I have fucking horrible, horrible cancer. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna throw in with Miracle Max here, and I'm gonna hope for a miracle, and I'm gonna try it. And I'm hoping for a miracle. I mean, he did bring Wesley back from the dead. I mean, he was mostly dead. I'm much more alive than Wesley. So I am hopeful. And this video is a lot longer than I anticipated. But this video one, I'm going to try to do videos daily of what's happening. Maybe not lying in my bed like this, but I'm feeling a little bit fevery and achy. And I'm kind of hoping that the ivermectin is kind of kicking its ass all of a sudden. And I'm like, that's right, baby. Kill that cancer. And yeah, that is where I am. And I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be videoing, happy to be taking breath. And I will see you later.